Big Blue Nation. There's been a lot of conversation lately about Andrew Thomas and his stature on this team. Um, I remember the interview from the press conference or whatever they call them on the stand up, and he said, "Hey, things are going well. We're looking for week one, but week one's not guaranteed." And so many people lost their mind. Oh my God, he's going to be hurt all season. It's time to move on. I'm here to talk about it because people over at ESPN, they put something together that says that the people in the game, the ones that anytime I say something that goes against them, you tell me, well, they're the ones who were inside, so they would know more. They think different. We're going to talk about it here. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of A Giant Issue. I am Coach Gene Clemons. New York Giants on SI. That's where you get all of your New York Giants news, information. Make sure you go over there. We've been putting out a ton of content. You've seen a lot of stuff from us. We're right around the corner from the start of training camp, which means we're right around the corner from the beginning of season 2 of A Giant Issue. I'm looking forward to it. Flipping the page, talking about football that's happening on the field, whether that's practice and things that are leading us up to week one. We still have the goal, 5,000 subscribers before we get to week one. We've fallen off. I've fallen off. You've fallen off. We've fallen off together. Let's get back on the wagon. Let's get 5,000 subscribers here before we hit week one. We've got over a month, well over a month and a half, almost 2 months. Plenty of time to get it done. Let's get it done together. A lot of you were concerned when Andrew Thomas came out and said, hey, I think things are going well. We're taking it slow. We want to be ready for week one, but there's no guarantee of week one. A lot of you were concerned. There were a lot of think pieces, a lot of content creators came out and let their voices be heard. A lot of media members came out and let their voices be heard. Right? Fans on X, on Blue Sky, on Facebook, in the groups and in the discords and all of the spaces that taught New York Giants football, there was concern. Hey, is it time to start looking for the replacement for this guy? Because he's never healthy. And again, I have similar issues, not criticisms, because injuries happen. I have similar issues, right? How can you be what this team needs you to be if you're not on the field? The best ability is availability, right? Not without a doubt. The best ability is availability. But there's talent, and then there's supreme talent, right? Everybody in the NFL is talented. Everyone that comes through the doors who walks into an NFL training camp, whether it's a rookie mini camp, a real training camp, the 53-man roster, the active roster for games, the starting lineup, anybody that puts on the helmet, shoulder pads, and dons a jersey of an NFL team, they are talented. Most likely, they were probably one of the best players on their college team, which means that they were a 1% of all people who play college football. And to even get into an NFL locker room means that you're the 1% of the 1%. So we're not talking, listen, talent is talent, but there's talent and then there's supreme talent. And ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Thomas, make no mistake about it, is a supreme talent. And when you have a supreme talent, you gotta wait. You have to give more latitude. This is why the supremely talented people get more opportunities when they mess up. This is why the supremely talented people get more opportunities when they're injured. Imagine, if you would, right? A world where someone says, hey, you know what? Andrew Thomas, we're paying him a lot of money, but he's hurt all the time. We're going to trade him away. Hit the reset button. We brought in Marcus Zimbo. So we're kind of ready, right? We still have Evan Neal. If he has to bump back out to tackle, right? We can do some things. So imagine doing all of that, only to then watch Andrew Thomas have another 10-year career where he's barely hurt. That is the Russian roulette you're playing when you're talking about supremely talented, right? I'll give you an example on Will Hernandez. There's been discussions about Will Hernandez coming back to the team. Like, people have said that they think Will Hernandez would be a great signing to come back for this team. I disagree. But not because I don't believe he can play, but because I believe that the people that they have in place are the people that fit the scheme that they want to run. And Will Hernandez doesn't fit that scheme, right? So Will Hernandez left the Giants after falling out of favor because he started giving up too many sacks, right? He was a run blocker, and he was doing the best he could as a pass protector, but he was still young, inexperienced, right? Getting better, had some good times with the Giants, but they weren't patient and they let him go. Only to watch him go over to Arizona and make every start for the next 3 years. The only reason he's not there right now or on a team right now is because he's coming off of an injury. If teams knew that he was fully healthy, this wouldn't even be a conversation right now. He might not be on Arizona, but he would be somewhere. I say all that to say he's not supremely talented. He's just talented. And if the Giants would have exercised a little more patience, a little more latitude for him to learn, those 3 years of stability could have been right here in New York and not over in Arizona. Now you don't have to go and spend money to get a John Runyon Jr., right? You don't have to spend that money on him. Now you just can spend money on another tackle or on the other side if you just wanted to spend on the other side. Now you have a more run-dominant offensive guard to go with your run-dominant offensive tackle. Maybe now that money that you saved because you didn't need to go out in free agency and grab another offensive lineman allowed you to sign Saquon Barkley to the number that he wanted. Because if you start putting together the numbers of a few of these free agent signees from that year, it equals what Philadelphia gave Saquon Barkley, right? It wasn't a ridiculous number that he got from Philly. It wasn't a ridiculous number what he was requesting. I digress. I know we don't ever want to talk about Saquon again, even though we talk about Saquon all the time. So when you think about just the talent that the Giants could have been a little bit more patient with, what would have been the outcome from that? Now we're talking about a supreme talent in Andrew Thomas. And not for nothing, but ESPN does their rankings, and their rankings come out every year. And guess who is on the list? Right? Guess who's on the list? And this is a list that is comprised from execs, coaches, and scouts who have ranked the NFL's top 10 offensive tackles going into 2025. And guess who is on that top 10? Anybody? Anyone guess? You want to know who's on the top 10? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Thomas, number 10. Andrew Thomas is number 10, right? And here's what's impressive about the fact that he's number 10. First off, he's been ranked as high as number 1. So at one point in time, the execs, the coaches, the scouts thought that Andrew Thomas was the best tackle in the game. It couldn't have been like several years ago. Remember, Andrew Thomas's first year, Andrew Thomas's first year, he was not very good. He was inconsistent, right? His second year, he truly came into his own. But it was that 2022 year where the Giants went to the playoffs that he really became the guy, right? And then we know going into 2023, he was the number one tackle. I think I have that right. Going into 2023, he was the number one tackle. Going into 2024, they still had him ranked 8th. Now, Andrew Thomas is coming off of back-to-back years where he has missed significant amounts of time. And yet, these execs and coaches and scouts, they still believe that he's a top 10 tackle in this league. What does that tell me? Does it tell me that they know more than you do, or they know more than? No, it's just like, it's simple. He's 26 years old. This is, by the way, this is the argument that I give you guys with Evan Neal about him being so young and you guys wanting to throw him away, and Kayvon Thibodeau being so young and you wanting to throw him away. He's 26 years old. He had a Liz Frank injury, which is a serious injury, and not just because it's a foot injury, but because it's a foot injury on a large human being who generates power from his lower half, right? And so if you generate power from your lower half, then it makes sense why a Liz Frank injury might be a little bit more daring or a little bit more like, ooh, for a lineman. But it's not something you can't come back from if you give it time. And these coaches and GMs and or coaches and execs and scouts, they all believe that if Andrew Thomas is healthy, he's going to be Andrew Thomas. So how do you drop him down low? Those types of talents you can't get rid of. You might have to like work something out, restructure, but you got to be patient. The only way you get rid of talents like that is if you've come to the point where you really and truly believe, because doctors have told you, this person's never going to be healthy. Never going to be healthy. That's the only time you decide that you're going to give up on supreme talent. Because like I said, supreme talent, extremely hard to find, right? Extremely hard to keep a hold of. And so when you have them, you can't just be out here giving them up. That was my problem with Saquon Barkley. Extreme talent. You don't give up extreme talent. I digress. So who are the other tackles that Andrew Thomas was ranked ahead of just a few short years ago, going into the 2023 season, right? Well, let's take a look. At number 1, surprise to me, right? Tristan Wirfs. I think he gets the nod because he's been an all-pro on both the left and right side. So I don't have an issue with it. I was just surprised that he was number 1. The guy I thought would be number 1, Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell was number 1. He's 24 years old. Tristan Wirfs, 26 years old. Number 3, Lane Johnson. He's 35 years old. He's had a couple steroid situations. So I don't have him as high for me because I think he's been benefited from performance enhancers that he's been caught with twice, right? Steroids, some type of performance enhancer, whatever it is. He's ranked right now number 3 at 35 years old. 36-year-old Trent Williams. Now, what's interesting about Trent Williams that people should know why maybe you don't want to give up on Andrew Thomas so fast, right? First off, it's easy to note that Trent Williams is 36 years old. And so Andrew Thomas being 26 means that he could have another 10 years of service, right? Y'all remember when Trent Williams was with the Washington Commanders? I do. I remember very well, right? And I remember that there was a stretch, right? There was a stretch where he was dealing with injuries, 2016, 2017, 2018. Then he sat out 2019. He sat out 2019. So it was 3 seasons of him dealing with injuries. One year, I think he played 12 on games. The other year, maybe 10. One year, 13. Like, not like debilitating, but enough, right? And the argument was, hey, he's not healthy. And then Trent Williams said, yo, I'm not playing for Washington anymore because I think the reason I'm not healthy is because of something they're doing. I'm paraphrasing here. That was at 31 years old that he sat out a year. He came back after 31. After 31, he came back. Pro Bowl, All-Pro first team, All-Pro first team, All-Pro first team. That was the next 3 years of his career after supposedly being damaged goods and people wondering if he would ever play in the NFL again. After taking a full year off where he didn't play at all. That's what happens when you have, or that is the difference between talent and elite level talent, right? That different level of talent. I believe Andrew Thomas to be on that Trent Williams level of talent. And so do I like the fact that he's missed significant games the past 2 seasons? No, I don't like it. Am I willing to give up on him because of it? Absolutely not. I'm going to go through the rest of this list because we're only down to Trent Williams. Jordan Mailata. Crazy, right? Crazy that they have a left tackle and a right tackle that are both top 10. Why? Because they invested in their offensive line. They built through their offensive line. They made sure that they kept on grooming the next people up. They made it a priority. They built around it. It's amazing. You build around the trenches, and the trenches are good. Crazy. Rashawn Slater, number 6 on the list. Laramie Tunsil, number 7. By the way, Laramie Tunsil, who was on the Texans last year, whom they said was not a good blocking offense yet, Washington wasted no time trading for Laramie Tunsil to help get the Commanders a better offensive line than they had last year when their line wasn't very good, but looked better because Jaden Daniels is there. Deion Dawkins is 8. Christian Darrisaw is 9. I want y'all to think about that, right? Andrew Thomas is 26 years old. Darrisaw is 26 years old. Rashawn Slater, 26 years old. With Penny Sewell, 24. Tristan Wirfs, 26. Everybody else is older, in their 30s. Even if he's not healthy to start week 1, if I told you you were going to get 14 games out of Andrew Thomas, say whatever his, like, it was a setback or he's not ready to go week 1, week 2, week 3. But when he's back, you're going to get him for 14 straight games. Are you not signing up for that? If I told you that the Giants had to figure it out for these first 3 games, by the way, I think they already have a figure out. They brought in talent to be able to back up, to hold the fort until, if they had to wait 3 games to ensure that everything, 3 more weeks, just to make sure that everything was right with this man, and I'm guaranteeing you 14 games after that. Are you signing up for it? You damn right you're signing up for it. Right? 14 games of Andrew Thomas is better than 10. 14 games of Andrew Thomas is better than 8. 14 games of a healthy Andrew Thomas is better than 17 games, 16 games of a hobbled Andrew Thomas because he's playing before he should be playing and the injury never gets an opportunity to heal. So he's 70%, 80%, 65% the entire year. I was talking with you guys about this with Darren Waller, that he felt like if he had just shut it down when he first felt the injury, that he would have saved himself a couple of weeks where he would not have been injured. He would have been able to avoid the long break with injury if he had shut it down, taken care of his body, and made sure it was right, then came back. Instead, he played through it because that's what we're taught to do. And Andrew Thomas is going to feel the internal pressure, right? He's going to feel the internal pressure to go, I got to get out there. I got to play. I got to be able to show up for my team. I got to be able to turn this thing around. I have to be one of the reasons why, not one of the reasons why not. He's going to feel that pressure when he listens, because they all do, even though they say they don't. When he listens to the media talk, he's going to feel that pressure when he hears the fans. He's going to feel that pressure if the team starts off and they're not doing well, especially if the protection on the left side is not good. He's going to feel the pressure. But what he can't do is allow himself to succumb to pressure over what his body is saying. And if his body's saying, I need another week, I need another 2 weeks, I need another 3 weeks, then you know what? Let the body talk. Because here's where it is. You don't just want him to be healthy for the rest of the season. You want him to be healthy going into the offseason. You want him to be healthy when you go into the offseason in 2026, because that's when you're going to be most likely turning it over to your second-year quarterback, Jackson Dart. And you're not going to want to start the season with your left tackle on the bench because he thugged it out in 2025. The hope is that you get him healthy enough to play a healthy season in 2025. Get to the offseason, have a normal offseason where he's just building up his body. He's not trying to recover from injury. And now he has a healthy 2026 and then gets into the offseason and he builds up his body. He's not trying to recover from injury. And now he has a healthy 2027. That's how it's done. We know what he is at his zenith. He's the best tackle in the game at his best. He's not just a Pro Bowler. He's not just an All-Pro. Execs know it. Coaches know it. Scouts know it. Deep down in your souls, you know it. Even haters know it. Off defensive ends and edge rushers know it. When Andrew Thomas is at his best, he's the best. Why would you ever want to think about getting rid of somebody like that? Right? We come in here all the time and we complain about execs and coaches and scouts, and we say, what are they looking at? And a lot of fans will sit around and say, well, what do you know? You're not there. If they're saying it, they must know something you don't. Well, allow me to use your own words. They're saying that he's a top 10 tackle in this league. Right? It's 32 tackles. Sorry, there's 32 starting left tackles. It's 32 starting right tackles. They believe that he is a top 10, that he is the 10th best. Out of 64 tackles, he's 10th. And you want to give that away when you know how hard it is to find really good talent, to find elite talent? You want to just give that away? You're ready to find listen, I wouldn't care if he gets hurt again this year and only plays 6 to 10 games. When 2026 rolls along, guess who's my starting left tackle? Andrew Thomas. I'm going to make sure I have good backups, but I'm not trying to find a replacement because I don't want to go and look at a team that I might have to play and he lines up across from us when he's healthy. I don't want to have to watch him go on and have success on someone else's team because I didn't want to be loyal enough. I didn't want to hold faith enough. I didn't want to make sure that my medical staff was doing everything possible to keep this man healthy so that our team could benefit from it. Right? I want another Giants legend. And you don't get rid of you don't get another Giants legend if you just get rid of them because you don't want to pay him a few extra dollars. You don't get a Giants legend if you get rid of them when they run into some injury, when they have one off the field, two off the field issues. You don't get Giants legends if you're so quick to cut the ties. Let me remind you, you have no LT if you guys were quick to cut the tie. You'd have no Tiki Barber if you were quick to cut the tie. The list goes on and on and on. You'd have no Victor Cruz if you were quick to cut the tie. On and on and on and on. Players that became legends or did legendary things for this team because the team was patient enough. Remember, this front office gave Daniel Jones 6 seasons to get it right. Daniel Jones was never on anyone's list as a 10th best anything. He's not even the 10th best athletic quarterback in the league. He's not 10 anything. They gave him 6 years. Right? Patience is the way. Patience is the way. Even though I didn't think they should be patient with Daniel Jones, I appreciated the patience. And now you as fans, as lovers of this team, you have to be patient with a guy like Andrew Thomas. If you wanna like point your slings and arrows at Evan Neal and say his days are numbered, if you want to do that to Kayvon Thibodeau and say his days are numbered, I don't agree with you, but go at it. Have a ball. But Andrew Thomas? No, absolutely not. It's good to know that people around the league still feel the same way I do about Andrew Thomas. I hope that he's continuing to progress towards getting back out there on the field. I'll look forward to seeing what the other tackles do in his in replacement for him to make sure that you know, if he's not ready to go, the people who are there will be able to perform admirably until he's back. But that's the life. Hey, next man up. Who's going to make a name and solidify themselves on this roster? That's going to be the fun thing to watch in training camp. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you go to New York Giants on SI. Check out everything that we're doing over there. All of the interviews, all of the rankings, the breakdowns, position group breakdowns. Everything's over there. The countdown to week 1. And how many days are left. We're just doing all kinds of stuff over there. Shout out to Patricia Traynor and the entire staff over there at New York Giants on SI. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I know there's been some unsubscribers. I don't know why. Maybe it's because all the little small videos that we do, and maybe that was a little like brain overload. But lock in right here. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know when a Giant issue is going to drop. Because once we get to the new season, right? Once we open up training camp, it is back to business on a regular basis, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a Giant issue.